Last year, the Respectful Relationships program implored all teachers to call out discriminatory behaviour, and some have felt brave enough to speak out publicly. I thank them for setting this example. But there have been many hushed conversations behind closed doors addressing the dangers of calling out anything in an environment sensitive to identity politics. I have decided to take that risk. A number of people have told me how they feel their narrative contradicts this respectful relationship discussion. It is my feeling the word respectful is at fault. I've never liked the word respect because it gets bandied about like we are all entitled to it. Nobody is entitled to respect. You earn it. I am obviously white, I am male, and I grew up in a Christian middle-class household. I appear to be the poster boy for white male privilege. There are staff here who would willingly place me in this category. However, my life hasn't been a poster for privilege because of my colour, my gender, or social status. And I am not Robinson Crusoe. For everything I articulate as a personal experience, there is another privileged white male in this school with a similar experience. I was a victim of domestic violence as a child. In a time where hitting children with a strap or wooden spoon was considered acceptable, I was savagely beaten and kicked in my home where I should have felt safe, at times wondering if I would survive. If you are picturing my father as the predator, you have fallen for the selective statistics of the media. It was my mother. I never defended myself by striking back, even though I could easily have done so. Men don't hit women. I blamed myself and so did my mother. I forgave her years ago, but where was my white male privilege then? At secondary school, I often sat on the lawn listening to the girls talk. Though I never had a girlfriend, my best friend was always a female. When I heard the way girls were talked about in the boys' locker room and called it out, I was alienated by a small group of insecure male peers, bullied, and branded a girl or a poof. I didn't feel privileged to be male. As a male student, being part of the cadet corps was compulsory from year 7. I stood beside the girls who fought to have the right to participate in cadets. Theirs was a choice, mine was not. In year 9, I had to learn to use an M16 rifle, a gun designed to shoot other human beings. My refusal to fire the gun became a running theme of shame for some of my teachers for the rest of my schooling. Though cadets taught me discipline, resilience and survival skills, I was seen as just a coward. Where was my privilege then? When there was a dispute with males at school or with my older brother, they were settled with fists, even though I would have preferred to settle them with words and mediation. I didn't get that choice. When I appealed for help from teachers or my parents, I was simply told to hit him back. That didn't feel like privilege when I watched my sisters receive compassion and adult intervention. I ended up running away from home before I finished my schooling. The benches of Spencer Street Station became my bed in the middle of winter. Where was my privilege then? When a youth worker rescued me from those benches and tried to get me a job based on my skills, the employment gatekeepers would not let me apply for any office jobs, even though my touch typing speed was tested at double that required, and accuracy was well above the minimum. Men don't type. I was allowed to labour on a farm, or on a work site, or as a storeman in a factory. In a fast food chain, males were out back, cooking, getting their arms burned by spitting oil and treated like scum. Girls were front of house, nurtured into their roles. Where was my privilege then? When I started a family, my partner, a school teacher, proposed that she would be a stay-at-home mum. I supported her through this choice for 12 years, despite the fact I would have loved to have had a greater part in bringing up my 3 boys. When she suggested she'd like to return to work, I supported that choice and proposed that I could cut back to 0.6 to share the raising of our children, and we'd benefit from lower taxes. I was told that I was living in La La Land if I thought I was doing anything but full-time. Men work full-time, women choose. Where was my privilege then? Today when I walk along the streets behind a woman, I feel the need to cross the road because I don't want her to feel unsafe. But in reality, statistics say I am more likely to be assaulted than she is. I've been assaulted requiring hospitalisation. Where was my privilege then? When we genderise all our resources and discussion to point at the bad men in this world, we are simply speaking to our own ignorance. Bad men exist. Bad women exist. Most of us are good people. This program is being presented to good men and women. I know because I work with them. We are one humanity, and assigning traits to one gender or the other is counterproductive. We should stand and tell positive stories of the proof of this statement. Women are strong. Women are courageous. Men are compassionate and caring. Men listen. Rather than telling me how I should act or feel, tell me about the great things that you see people do, and perhaps that will inspire me to be better too. Positive modelling trumps virtue signalling. Clearly I have been offended, or I would not be saying what I am, and anyone is entitled to offend me. Nobody has the right not to be offended. Being offended is how we have real discussions about important ways we can grow. But don't offend me and then try to shame me into silence, because you don't wish to be confronted with an alternative view. It has to cut both ways. I'm going to leave now and reflect on my stupidity. Thank you.